Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Magic Mirror. As you can see today, it's going to be about the internet. So, yeah, without further ado, I will start here. So, it was out in the 1950s, and as you all know, it all went to our time right now. But the highlight dates I have here is the 1960s and the 1980s, and there's a lot of people that have been working on this, and I'll try to pronounce all of the names correctly, and I'm sorry if I'm saying some of the names wrong, but yeah, I still feel like they have to have a shout out because like the internet is something that we all use nowadays still to gather information and get what we want, play computer games, and do all sorts of stuff on our computers. Actually, some of us also have jobs on our computers, but yeah. So it's Louis Porson, it's Vint Cerf, Bob Kane, Donald Davis, Leonard Rock, Lawrence Roberts, Robert Taylor, and Tim Berners-Lee. Now, Tim Berners-Lee was the one that I could find the most information about, and of course, I'm going to leave a link to all of these great inventors and stuff like that in the description down below. But he is the one that the Wikipedia says is the inventor of the internet. Now, I feel like they all contributed something to make this, and like I can see how the Wikipedia page is like focusing more on one, because like then it becomes easier to figure out. And I also feel like after reading a whole lot about it, because I actually didn't know a lot about it. Like I will say, like yes, he is the inventor of the World Wide Web, or the internet as we all know and love it. But I actually grew up without internet for a short time period. So I have been in the target group, or in the age range where like we were growing up, and like we were almost growing up with the internet. I remember having the computer where it was like a floppy disk, and it had the dial-up tone and all of this good stuff. So yeah, I do have fond memories of starting with the internet and how slow it was in the start, and you actually had to pay for, like, I know like you still pay for your internet, but in old days it was just like really expensive. And like if you wanted to use the internet, you have to get off your phone, and you had to be like, oh, the phone bill is going to be counting up, so don't use too long on the internet. Nowadays we can just like use the internet to our everyday use, and like all the time almost. And I actually don't think like we pay that much for internet, or at least we don't do that here in the where I live. So yeah, actually also censorship was something that we didn't have, or we still don't have here where I live. So like that's great. I know like there's other countries that has censorship, and I do understand like there should be some form of censorship, I do believe. Like, but I also feel like the internet is the place for free content. This is the place for going if you want to really find stuff that is grim, or really good, or how to say that. So yeah, I do understand it to some certain extent, but I also do believe like we should be more open and have more non-censorship, or how to say that, because like we see billboards with commercials, and we see all of these commercials every time, like, and we had like commercials and stuff like that before the internet that actually influenced us to buy stuff and do stuff for their own benefit. And I also do remember watching like television, even though like in those times it was really hard for us to have like both things. So like TV and computer were not something that was really common out like in the country in old days, because like there it was a lot of money and it was like hard to get or and stuff like that. It was only because like we had a parent that had something to do with computers, and she had a my mom had a computer. We could use the one with the floppy disk I was talking about. And I remember, of course, like getting my first mobile phone with the internet on, and like being really excited for all of the great stuff that I could search for, and be like really surprised about how good it was working and stuff like that. And now I see like nowadays my internet is still like not working that great, but it's working definitely a lot better than it did those days. So yeah, I will say like we need to appreciate the internet more. We need to like be aware like it all came from a place, and how to say that. And there were a time where there were no internet, and where we had the like to be looking stuff up in books, and being yeah, all doing all of these good stuff. So yeah, I do believe like there should be more appreciation for like internet, or like World Wide Web as it's also called. Something I was actually really surprised about, and I didn't know, was that there was a messenger for the internet, or how to say that. And I'll show a picture of a bicycle here. Like I had no idea like there was this sculpture, or how to call that, and that surprised me a lot. Something that also surprised me was where the internet is now, and where it doesn't go, or we don't know anything, any information about it. And I'll show some pictures of it here, of the world, and where like the internet is now, and how it developed over time, or how to say it. And again, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below, so you can go and see if that's something that interests you. I just feel like now I was talking so much about like computer games and movies and so on. I was just thinking like the internet is something that are really did a whole lot of good stuff for us. Like we could start watching our favorite shows. We could start, like as I said, playing games. We could start like actually calling each other up over the internet for free, using Skype and stuff like that. And some of us also found love over the internet. I'm one of those. But yeah, some of us has also been really unlucky with stuff like that, meeting people that we didn't like to meet. I am also one of those examples. And I also feel like the internet has a darker, deeper, or how to say that, secret to it. And it also has like this, I'll not say dark undertone, but like there's places that you know that you shouldn't go on the internet. And I will not leave links to those in the description down below. If you are in my age group, I think you know what I'm talking about, the places that you don't need to go. So yeah, I actually just wanted to do this video as a homage and appreciation to the internet, and for like my future videos, because like I'm still going to talk about video games and movies and stuff like that. And I do really think like there need to be more appreciation for like what it has done for us, and how it evolved us and stuff like that. And it could also like evolve into like something that's a little bit more scary, or how to say that, with IEs and stuff like that. But I think like that's into the future. I'll maybe leave a link to a robot that I saw that was made with intelligence and stuff like that. But that was actually all that I had to say, and tomorrow it's going to be Jurassic Park. So, without further ado, do remember that inspiration is right around the corner. Do remember to take care of yourself and loved ones. And that was actually all. Okay, bye.